How often should older adults really be having sex? Is there a magic number that guarantees happiness, health, or connection? You might be surprised by what science actually says. Stay with me until the end of this video, because I'll share a little-known fact that could completely reshape how you view intimacy at this stage of life. I'm Dr. Lisa Perriera, and I've spent more than 30 years caring for women just like you. Too often, society brushes off the idea of older people having active sex lives as if intimacy is something we're supposed to outgrow. But let me reassure you, intimacy doesn't have an expiration date. In fact, research shows that sexual activity later in life can bring profound benefits to both the mind and body. Before we dive deeper, let me pause and ask you to support this channel. If you find conversations like this important, please like this video, leave a comment to share your thoughts, and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. Together, we're creating a space where women can age with confidence, knowledge, and joy. Now let's talk about why intimacy matters so much as we age. You've probably heard the myths you're too old for sex, or it's not the same anymore. But the reality is very different. Sexual well-being in later years doesn't diminish your health. In many ways, it can enhance it. Maintaining an active, intimate life can support both your physical and emotional health. On the physical side, sex can function a lot like light exercise. It increases your heart rate, promotes circulation, and supports cardiovascular health. While it won't replace a brisk walk or a swim, it does contribute to keeping your heart active. According to the Mayo Clinic, sexual activity also prompts the release of endorphins, the body's natural feel-good chemicals, which help lower stress, reduce pain, and boost mood. Another benefit: better sleep. Many older adults struggle with falling or staying asleep, especially after menopause. But intimacy, whether through sexual activity or even simple physical closeness like cuddling, stimulates oxytocin, a hormone that relaxes the body and reduces anxiety. That release of tension can help you drift into deeper, more restful sleep. And perhaps one of the most powerful benefits is what intimacy does for mental health. Studies published by the National Institutes of Health have shown that older adults who remain sexually active often report lower rates of depression and anxiety. Feeling desired and connected can restore a sense of vitality, reminding you that you're not only alive, but deeply relevant and vibrant. Let's also talk about your brain. Research suggests that sexual activity stimulates areas of the brain tied to memory and learning. Some studies even point to a possible protective effect against age-related cognitive decline like Alzheimer's disease. Think of intimacy as a way of exercising your brain, not just your body. Beyond the science, there's the emotional fulfillment. Physical closeness strengthens the bond between partners. It's not only about romance, but also about reassurance, knowing that someone values you, cares for you, and delights in your presence. That kind of intimacy nurtures a deep sense of belonging, especially as life brings new challenges. So when we ask, how much sex should older people be having? The answer isn't found in numbers alone. It's rooted in connection, joy, and well-being. And that's what we'll begin exploring together in the next part. Now let's get to the heart of the question. You might be wondering about how much sex is considered normal or healthy as we age. Many people expect a simple, concrete answer once a week, once a month, or some magic formula. But here's the truth. There isn't one perfect number. What matters most is how connected and fulfilled you feel with your partner. Frequency is far less important than the quality of the experience. That said, research can give us some helpful perspective. For example, a study published in the National Library of Medicine looked at older adults ages 65 and above. It found that those who engaged in sexual activity about once a week tended to report greater happiness and overall life satisfaction, including stronger relationships. But here's something crucial. People who were intimate less frequently also reported being happy and satisfied, as long as their emotional connection remained strong. In other words, the joy of intimacy doesn't come from meeting a quota, it comes from feeling close, wanted, and understood. For some couples, once a month may feel perfectly fulfilling. For others, touch and closeness might happen more often, even if it's not always full sexual intercourse. As we age, intimacy often evolves. Many people describe a shift from focusing on performance to focusing on emotional closeness. Without the pressure to prove anything, intimacy becomes more about trust, tenderness, and enjoying the moment. This mindset can actually deepen relationships and for some increase the desire to be close more often. Of course, health plays a major role in how often you might feel ready for intimacy. Conditions like arthritis, diabetes, or heart disease can affect energy levels and physical comfort. But moderate sexual activity itself has been shown to support blood flow flexibility and even energy over time. If you live with health concerns, intimacy may look different, but it doesn't have to disappear. With the right accommodations and open communication, closeness is still possible and just as meaningful. And here's another point I always emphasize to my patients. Intimacy doesn't only mean intercourse. Gentle touch, affectionate kissing, or even simply lying close together can provide many of the same emotional benefits. These moments of tenderness remind you that you are loved, desired, and worthy of closeness, no matter what your frequency of sex may be. So instead of asking, "How often should I be having sex?" try asking, "What feels right for me and my partner right now?" That question respects your individuality, your health, and the unique stage of life you're in. And the answer will be far more meaningful than any number on a chart. In the next part, we'll explore some of the common barriers that can make intimacy more challenging in later years, and just as importantly, the practical ways you can overcome them. Let's turn to something very real: the barriers that can sometimes make intimacy feel difficult in later years. These challenges are more common than you might think, but the good news is that with the right strategies, many can be worked through. One of the most frequent obstacles is physical health. Conditions such as arthritis, chronic pain, or mobility limitations can make certain movements uncomfortable. If this sounds familiar, please know you are not alone. Many couples have found that adjusting positions, such as lying side by side or using pillows for support, makes intimacy far more comfortable. What matters is not forcing your body into positions that hurt, but finding ways to remain close while protecting your joints and muscles. Another physical change that many women experience after menopause is vaginal dryness, which can make intimacy less enjoyable. This is caused by lower estrogen levels and is entirely natural. Thankfully, solutions are widely available. Over-the-counter lubricants and vaginal moisturizers can restore comfort, and for some women, prescription treatments may also help. Don't hesitate to bring this up with your doctor. It's a common issue with safe and effective options. But intimacy isn't only shaped by the body. Emotional and mental factors can play just as big a role. It's not unusual to feel self-conscious about aging body changes or even the fear of not satisfying your partner. These worries can create anxiety that makes it harder to feel relaxed and present. The most powerful antidote is open communication. Share your feelings with your partner. More often than not, you'll discover they value the connection with you far more than any physical perfection. There's also the weight of daily life. Caregiving responsibilities, stress, or feelings of isolation can all reduce interest in sex. If you're struggling with ongoing sadness, anxiety, or low motivation, professional support from a counselor or therapist can be life-changing. Just as we care for our physical health, tending to our mental well-being keeps intimacy alive and enjoyable. And remember, this intimacy isn't a race, and it isn't a performance. You deserve to feel desired, valued, and emotionally connected, whatever your current circumstances may be. By making small adjustments and talking openly, you can rediscover closeness that feels authentic and deeply rewarding. In the next part, we'll explore the emotional side of intimacy, why trust, vulnerability, and affection often matter even more than physical performance as we grow older. Now let's explore something often overlooked but deeply powerful, the emotional side of intimacy. For many older adults, this becomes the most meaningful part of a sexual relationship. When you were younger, intimacy may have been driven by passion, novelty, or performance. But as we age, it often transforms into something more profound, an anchor of trust connection and shared understanding. At this stage of life, you and your partner know each other in ways that go beyond the physical. That deeper knowledge makes intimacy less about proving yourself and more about celebrating the bond you've built together. Emotional intimacy can also strengthen self-esteem and a sense of belonging. Holding hands, lingering eye contact, or simply sharing quiet moments together before intimacy are acts of connection every bit as important as physical closeness. These gestures remind you that you are cherished and that your presence matters deeply to someone else. And let's talk about desire. Feeling wanted is important at every age. A gentle touch, a kiss, or a tender embrace communicates not only attraction, but also reassurance. You are still special to me. Studies in older adults consistently show that couples who nurture this affection, whether through sex cuddling or regular expressions of love, report stronger relationships and greater life satisfaction. It's also essential to understand that intimacy doesn't have to look just one way. Some couples may continue to enjoy traditional sexual activity, while others find profound fulfillment in different forms of closeness. What truly matters is that emotional connection stays alive, whether it's through sexual activity, hugging, or simply sharing meaningful time together. The benefits to your heart and mind are enormous. This stage of life invites you to redefine intimacy on your own terms. Without the pressure of comparison or societal expectations, you're free to explore what closeness means for you now. And often that freedom allows for richer, more authentic intimacy than ever before. In the final part, we'll bring everything together, exploring how healthy, aging, self-care, and communication can keep your intimacy strong, fulfilling, and joyful for years to come. As we bring this conversation together, let's talk about what truly sustains intimacy in later life, caring for yourself, communicating openly, and embracing the changes that come with age. Healthy aging is the foundation. Regular physical activity, whether it's walking, swimming, yoga, or light strength training, keeps your body flexible, your joints mobile, and your energy higher. A balanced diet, rich in fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains, supports not just heart health, but also sexual health. And don't forget, mental well-being practices like mindfulness meditation or simply doing activities that bring you joy can lower stress and open the door to deeper connection with your partner. Communication is just as vital. Honest conversations about what feels good, what doesn't, and what you'd like to try can remove the anxiety that sometimes builds up over time. When both partners feel heard and understood, intimacy flows naturally. Instead of guessing or worrying about expectations, you build trust, making closeness feel safe, genuine, and joyful. And perhaps most importantly, embrace intimacy as it evolves. Aging changes our bodies and our rhythms, but those changes don't mean a decline, they mean a new chapter. Many older adults describe intimacy as more satisfying than ever because it's rooted in authenticity, patience, and mutual care rather than performance. Whether you find fulfillment through weekly sex, occasional intimacy, or tender everyday affection, The value lies in how meaningful it feels to you and your partner. So how often should older people be having sex? The answer isn't about numbers. It's about staying connected, communicating openly, and allowing intimacy to be a source of health, joy, and love on your own terms. I'd love to leave you with this reflection. Intimacy is not about keeping pace with anyone else's expectations. It's about honoring your body, cherishing your partner, and embracing the closeness that makes life richer at every stage. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope today's conversation encourages you to see intimacy as a lifelong gift, one that grows deeper with age. If this video resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share them in the comments. And if you'd like to continue these conversations, subscribe to our channel so we can keep exploring the topics that matter most to you. Until next time, may you feel connected, cherished, and confident in the beauty of intimacy at every age.